Welcome back for another video. It's Eharbad, and we're back in Raid Shadow Legends for part 2 of this best epics per faction, with a real tilt looking towards the Soulcross stages on hard mode Sintranos. But we're also going to be considering what you might use in the kind of Doom Tower secret rooms, in any other kind of endgame content, be it Arena, Hydra, etc. So we're trying to come up with a holistic look at best epics, who I'd focus on getting those blessings and those empowerments for. So if we jump into Ogryn tribes, who have I extensively used clearing Sintranos myself? I would say Grush, absolutely. I've used a number of times. Shatterbones I've used. Siege Hulk I've used a number of times as well. Grush and Siege Hulk, both damage dealers, so both really benefit a lot from both blessings and empowerment. Ugo for Hydra, very strong. I think have used her in a few stages, but not that many. Shatterbones, as I mentioned, I used in a few stages as well, particularly I think it's rotation 5 of Soulcross 19. I think there are instances where you can use other ones here. I think Gruckus you can use against Fire Knight. I think there's one rotation where he works, and you do pick up a triple hit A1 with Leech, decrease speed on the A2, and heal reduction, decrease attack. So pretty good if you can squeeze him in. I haven't 6-starred mine yet, so I haven't actually used him. I think Ogryn makes an occasional appearance. If you do have a high awakening level, you could probably use him in some of the awakening rooms. And I think Skullcrusher I used in a room, but again, not that important. So really, the key ones are Ugo, Siege Hulk, Shatterbones, Grush, I'd say. And then obviously famous Maneater for Clan Boss Unkillable. Now, if we jump over to the old spreadsheet, the question is, am I right? So let's click Ogryn Tribes. And if we look overall, Ogryn is usable in a lot of stages, again, because of the awakening. Ugo makes an appearance, Shatterbones. We should check Seize. I never built him, haven't used him. Siege Hulk, as I mentioned. Galkut actually can do good damage. If we check the extreme stages, so the very hard ones, I don't know why it's doing it this way, silly thing. There we go. Ugo makes an appearance 4 times, so actually pretty strong, well worth building. Grimskin comes in 3 of them. Occult, Brawler, Grush. Okay, and then Galkut again. So there's the old Siege Hulk and Shatterbone. So Siege Hulk does make an appearance in one of the very hard stages, but in a number of the other ones. If we do look at the Fire Knight, was I correct? Yes, old Gruckus making 2 appearances, so not a bad shout there. Let's have a quick look back in the game then. Let's see what Seize brings us, if he's worth considering. Can self-buff himself with increased attack, triple hit, A2, single target. And there we, honestly, not really worth it. I don't think I would care at all. So I stand by my original combination. Ogryn, good for those awakening stages. I did see Wazgar be used by someone on A stage as well. I guess you have reflect damage on all allies and a quad hit A1 plus a counter attack on this champion. So probably pretty strong against Fire Knight. Let's just confirm. Click that. Wazgar is even there. No, he isn't. But he would have been good. What about the other one? Nope, doesn't appear there either. How disappointing. Never mind. Right. So that is Ogryn done. On to the Lizardmen. Who have we got? Venomage, obviously a big shout out, is usable in Amius. I think I've used in 1 or 2 Soulcross stages, but not a lot in truth. Aox is a good champion overall, but again, I don't think I've actually used him in a single Soulcross stage. I feel like Lizardmen epics are heavily underrepresented in Soulcross. We can go over and have a look. Let's click on the old Lizardman. We will initially collect for all stages. So you do have the old voids coming in because of the awakening stages. Outside of that, Venomage does get a number of opportunities to be used. But yeah, like overall, you can see like a number of these champions are less than 10 stages where they're even usable. And if we go for the hardest stages of all, it's Venomage. Venomage is the one. Absolutely the best by a country mile, and in terms of usage, is also the best. Broodlord has a possibility of being used because you do have an AoE stun. I can't remember the exact combinations where this champion does appear, but you do have a 50% chance to AoE stun, which does increase up to 85% if they got decreased speed. So if you did pair him with a AoE decreased speed champion, that would work out quite nicely. I can't remember which stages he's actually usable on. I should probably pay more attention because that's quite a nice combination for crowd control. Plus, you have the ability to keep someone alive with the whole ally protection block debuffs. A champion that I want to like more than I actually do, basically. In terms of empowerment and blessings, Venomage benefits greatly, not so much from doing direct damage, but just the overall stat gains. And Venomage is usable against Amius with heal reduction, does appear in at least one of the rotations, if not 2. I can't actually recall if it's 1 or 2. So pretty good overall, and obviously we know Amius is better if you have high blessings. But that's kind of it. I mean, kind of other shout-outs for general content, Jareg, Delaja, Quaggan's actually okay in some instances. Scathix and Broadmoor both do their job as well. Quite slim. I think they really need to add some more epics to Lizardmen, to be honest. Skinwalkers. Who have we got here that I have built? Now, I don't have them built, but the 2 bears I have seen be used in a number of Soulcross stages that are on the challenging side. Steel Skull is an absolute MVP. So strong, so usable in a number of things. One, the increased defense with Faultless Defense is really useful against Fire Knight 17 in one of the rotations. It was either 4 or 5. You also get the poisons on an A1, which are really useful again for that Fire Knight stage. But beyond that, when you've got, I think you use Steel Skull in stage 19 against the Taras Marishka stage, having that increased defense with a heal helps keep your team alive and keeps them more tanky as well, and therefore pairs nicely with provoke champions such as Nullhorn. So, like, really, really solid champion overall. I have used Fane as a damage dealer in 1 or 2 stages, but not that many. Kempton's good for wave content generally, but again, outside of the awakening stages, I haven't really seen him being used that much or needed that much. Hofferis rather, does obviously bring you a revive option with also with increased attack, increased crit rate, and strength, and so a pretty solid champion overall. I haven't used mine personally, but I have seen other people use him, and that's kind of it. Again, there's not a lot. Let's jump over and see if we go Skinwalkers and we focus, well, we might as well focus on the hard stages first. Steel Skull, as I mentioned, Hofferis showing himself. the Bears and Fane. So Bovos actually seems to rank quite highly in terms of number of available stages, up there with Steel Skull. I mean, they have the exact same restrictions, so we should quickly check on him. And if we look at Soulcross overall, it's pretty similar. Yaga and Ripper are trash. Ogryn does make an appearance here as well, purely because of Void and the Awakening stages. So the only potential one that the stats are showing us is Bovos, who's actually pretty new overall. A1, decreased speed, decreased crit rate, decreased crit damage on an AoE basis. It could be kind of okay. A bit of a cleanse with increased crit rate, increased crit damage. And then heals when they're hit with a critical hit. Honestly, not worth it. Like, he's not bringing enough. I wouldn't care in the slightest. And if we go over to Orcs, there's a lot more Orcs than the other factions. Ultimate Gaelic I've seen used, but I haven't used it myself. Duk has been absolutely god tier, as has Zagala. These two super strong. Sandlash Survivor I've used as well, and then Trumbor and Tagoa I think are also pretty good. Obviously Seer's godly, and Leberga's pretty strong, so it's a pretty strong faction overall. I've seen a few other stages where people have maybe used Jorg. I've even seen Bloodfeather. I've seen Bonekeeper be used. Vrask can be used, but not great. Even Terror Beast, I think you can use him against Fire Knight for one of the stages. There's a lot of options, sort of niche uses, but the ones that I'd really focus on, if I had to just pick the absolute creme de la creme, it would be Duk, Zagala, Sandlash Survivor, Trumbor, and then Seer, Leberga. Those would be the ones that I'd really like focus on. And then probably after that, Tagura, Jorg, and Gaelic as sort of the next best tier. And if we think about blessings and empowerment, the damage dealers are going to benefit most of all. Duck, Zagala, Sandlashed would be the ones that I would be focusing in terms of those direct damage. Seer, obviously, you might as well get more stats in it. We know how strong she is just for general dungeon content if you get that 6-star crushing rend. That would probably be what I'd focus on. And in terms of Sandlash, doesn't actually get used in that many stages. So I'd say Zagala and Duck would be the two that I would care most about. Let's jump over here, and we were looking at Orcs. Again, because of the Awakening stages, the Voids come out there, but then, like I say, Ultimate Gaelic, 13 stages usable, which is a lot for a non-Void champion. Duck the Pierced, as we know, Jorg as a reviver. I wouldn't care about Maruka. Tagoa, who I mentioned as well, 11. Then comes Zagala, and then Sandlash actually only down at 6, same as Trombor, but they are defense-based spirit epics. So they actually end up being in some of the harder stages too. But you can see again, even if we look at the extremely tough stages, Duck the Pierced at the top, as is Ultimate Gaelic. So I haven't built my own Gaelic, but I do think I'm probably going to. I think it would make sense. You've got an AoE, you've got self increase attack, which is pretty good. And then it's just a good kit overall, you know. It does remove stun on himself as well, which is quite nice. Yeah, I haven't actually bothered building him. I don't have a great blessing. I think he would benefit from having that. But you can always get good damage from AoE HP burn as well. Like he's just, as a general champion, he's really been power crept. But given the stages in question, he does a pretty decent job in that regard. who did we say otherwise? If I jump back here, was there anyone that was particularly interesting for us to double check? Not massively. Yeah, I'd say we pretty much had that covered with our original analysis. Yeah, I think that kind of covers it. Isn't much else to say. That was a Gaellen Pact. Not that many epics, much shorter than Tellurian was. And that will conclude part 2 of this. It's going to end up being, what, a 4-part? Yeah. Okay, well, that's part 2. Gaellen Pact done. I'll see you shortly for part 3. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.